believe change is inevitable. So it's never too late to make a difference as an individual. Cause we gotta do that to become better as a whole. All for one, and one for all.
Good morning, Wolfpack. How are we doing this morning? I hope you're doing amazing. So, last couple days has been a couple rough ones. Been stuck in my head for different reasons. But we'll get to that sometime later. I just want to make sure you're all doing okay. I want to make sure that, your mindset is all right. Never forget that you're not alone. Never forget that. That's what this group was made here for. I said, last couple days have been rough. Been stuck in my head, and I had to sit down and learn a new technique, a new, I don't even know what to call it, but it's facts over feelings. And being stuck in my head, being, self-doubting myself, and just thinking a lot about where I want my life to go, thinking a lot of why I'm not where I want to be right now, all these different kinds of things, just thinking and being stuck in my head. It's weird because it don't happen as much as it used to. So it reminds me of that song, Darkness, My Old Friend. And I had to sit down yesterday, which kind of snapped me out of it, and basically write down on a piece of paper what I was feeling on one side, and then on the other side I wrote down the facts to beat that feeling, to come up with actual facts that basically argued against the way I was feeling about myself, about other things. And it worked. It really helped. Once I was able to sit down and write it all down and reread the facts of everything, it helped a lot. I wanted to sit down and do a live with that yesterday. I didn't get to it. And then I wanted to, kind of do it in yesterday's in-person meeting, and didn't get to it. We had the in-person meeting last night, but that's another topic for another day. Maybe later on today, we'll see. I just want to let you know, I want to make sure you never forget that you're not alone. And you've got to beat those feelings with facts. You got to sit down and remind yourself and tell yourself over and over again who is around you that actually supports you, who is around you that loves you, that wants to be in your life, that tries to be in your life. Even when we, push people away, and even when, we can't see past the darkness, who is actually there. Remember what you're fighting for. Remember who you're fighting for. Remember who's around. Because you're not alone. No matter what your brain tells you. No matter the dumb things that your mind wants to sit there and repeat over and over and over again. You're not alone. You do have support. You do have people that love you. You do have people that care about you. You do have a pack. You may not know us by, face, or know us personally, or know, us anywhere else out of the Facebook group. But we're here for you. We're here for you. We had an incident yesterday that one of the pack members, I'm not going to put the name out there or the personal business, but one of the pack members was going through some things with this person's kid. And, it got pretty bad yesterday. Luckily, this person was able to see the signs of what was going on and stepped up because of this person's own things that they've been through and their own work that they've done on themselves. They were able to see the signs. And yesterday, that was probably exactly what I was feeling too. I want to thank the pack members that reached out to this person. I want to thank, everybody that, showed love and support, commented, messaged this person. That's what this pack is here for. Some battles you don't have to fight alone. Some battles you don't have to sit here and do this alone. Because you're not alone. It's an actual fact. It's factual. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but reach out. Ask for help when you need it. Sometimes we do need to talk to somebody or need somebody else's opinions or need somebody else's voice, to help guide us, to help, get us out of our own head. Yesterday, not only for this pack member, but also, for me, like I said, I've been in my head last couple days over, different things. Mostly about, my own life. And sitting down and writing the facts over feelings like I did really helped me. I'm gonna explain this later. I'm gonna get into more detail about how I did this. Don't even know where I came up with it. I've been thinking about it the last week or two. I probably heard, something in a moto video of, somebody else talking about it, but not actually heard somebody really sitting down and doing it. And like I said, to break the cycle that was going on in my head yesterday, and the self-pity party that I was giving myself, and the woe is me, and all this different stuff that I was thinking in my head, and it really helped. Like I said, I sat down, and once I got it onto paper and got it out of my head, writing down on the left side, basically basically just drawing a line down the middle and of a piece of paper and writing on the left side at the top of the paper feelings, the way I felt, what was going on. And then on the right side, I wrote down the facts. You know, the left side was how I was feeling, what I was thinking about. And the right side was the facts, to basically argue what was going on in my head, why I was feeling like this, you know, what, just coming up with, you know, so for example, you know, basically, you know, I was in my head about not being able to help people like I think I should, you know, not feeling like I'm doing enough, not feeling like, you know, not feeling like I'm any good at what I'm doing. You know, people not either paying attention enough or listening or, you know, this and that. And it's not, you know, not getting on to anybody for not watching the lives and not participating or anything. I just, you know, wondering about what I'm doing wrong, that I'm not reaching people like I feel like I should. I was being pretty hard on myself. Those were the feelings that I was feeling yesterday. And so on the right side, I started writing down the facts, you know, because it's facts over feelings. Fuck your feelings, basically. Fuck your feelings, because they're not the way you feel about yourself, and the way you feel, you know, what's going inside your head isn't the truth. The fact side, when I sat down and started writing it, you know, I put down at least 5 things and told myself, you know, these are the facts. You think you're not helping people, but yet you have people in this group all the time messaging you, you know, commenting, you know, saying all this different stuff that, you know, of how you are helping. You know, you think people aren't paying attention, but yet there's people on at 5 o'clock in the morning watching this live right now. You know, there's people that are downloading the podcast. There's people that's, you know, watching the TikToks, you know, and, you know, friggin', you know, so I came up with like 5 of them. I said, I'm going to go in deeper detail later today, because I think this, you know, can really help somebody, because this helped me. It did. It helped me break out of my cycle yesterday and the way I was feeling about everything. And I'm reading the comments, you know, like, you know, and this is fact right here. Like, you know, one of the pack members, you know, stated, "Don't you go there. Trust me, you have helped me so much." And another pack member said, "After the library meeting, I was wondering about you. I'm glad you made this list." So right there, you know, the facts. There's 2 comments right there that 2 different people were sitting there saying, you know, they care about me, you know, that I do help them, and then, you know, they're glad that I got out of my head, that they are listening. Like, you know, those are the facts. And I know it's hard when your head is sitting here telling you many different things. During the meeting last night, and while I was doing this, you know, facts over feelings, little, I don't even know what to call it, this facts over feelings thing, I, you know, after I wrote all that down, I went into, well, why am I feeling like this? You know, holding myself accountable, basically. Why am I feeling like this? Because I feel like I'm not doing enough. So what's the cure for that? What do I need to do to figure this out? Well, the simple answer is I need to do what the fuck I said I was going to do. I need to follow through. I need to learn how to finish, you know, friggin' what I started. Some things I just need to start. You know, I need to do more. You know, I can't, and I I need to remember also that, you know, I just started going public with this whole thing because I've, you know, kept the Facebook group private for years now. I've just started going public within the last month or two. So of course, nobody knows about me. Nobody hears about me, you know, all this different stuff. I've done it privately. Another comment I just got. I've been emotional for about a week. If it wasn't for you and the other ones reading or other ones reaching out in this group, I would have lost it. So again, there's facts. And I'm not looking for a pity party. I'm not looking for, you know, for people to, you know, sit here and tell me these things. This is just what's on my mind this morning. And after, you know, writing some things down, that's just like, you know, that I was holding myself accountable for, because I can't control the actions of everybody else. I can only control my response. I can only control me. I can only, you know, fix me. I can't make other people, you know, fix themselves, no matter how much advice and how much time and, you know, all this other different stuff that I'm giving towards people and doing all this. You know, I can't make them do it. The only one person I can make do anything is myself. So after, you know, writing down accountability and holding myself accountable, because I'm not blaming nobody else for what I'm going through, and not blaming anybody else for my actions and, you know, this and that. I'm holding myself accountable. Well, then I started writing down, okay, how do I fix this stuff? Started formulating a plan. All right, I need to do this. I need to, you know, do that. I need to, you know, make sure I keep up on the podcasts. I need to make sure I stay consistent with the lives. I need to make sure, you know, I'm sending out the moto videos every morning. I need to, you know, all these kind of different things that I need to make sure that I'm doing. If I feel like I'm not doing enough, then obviously the answer is I need to do more. You know, regardless of, you know, how people feel, this is you know, this is how I feel. You know, yes, you know, taking breaks, yes, making sure I'm taking care of myself, yes, you know, doing all of this. But if I'm, you know, getting serious about helping people in the way I want to and doing all this, after, you know, after doing all of this, then, you know, I need to make sure I'm doing my part. I need to show up for me. You know, yesterday, the in-person meeting, one person showed up. Only one. You know, myself and the moderator, Becky. You know, we were the only two to actually show up. Which I'm not damning nobody for that. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. You know, I'm not picking on nobody. I'm not fucking with nobody. You know, I need to understand and remember that I'm dealing with mental illnesses, that, you know, people have, you know, their own stuff going on in their life. I know there's people out there that actually want to come, but either because something's going on with their life or their own mental illness, you know, anxiety, depression, whatever is just keeping them from coming. So I've got to remember that. I can't beat myself up because I almost canceled yesterday's in-person meeting, and I got to thinking, like, well, if I cancel it, then what if somebody was wanting to come? You know, what if somebody was wanting to show up? And, you know, me and Becky sat around for a good hour, and it was more than an hour, from 5:30 till I think we finally called it at like 7. And, you know, we just sat around and talked. And just talked about everything. You know, it was probably a talk that I needed, probably a talk that she needed. You know, we just sat around and bullshitted about what was going on in my life, you know, going on in her life, just, you know, just bullshitted. So there's, I know there's people that's wanting to come to this meeting. I know there's people that's wanting the in-person meetings. But that I also know that there's people that just can't come. You know, there's people that, you know, has messaged me or commented and was like, I wish I could make it, but like, you're an hour and a half away from me, or, you know, I've got to work, or I've got this going on, I've got that going on. And, you know, fortunately for modern day, I was trying to keep these in-person meetings, private, so there was no private business of somebody else's being put out there. I think I'm just going to have to start having some kind of like Zoom meetings or virtual meetings or something like that. Having an in-person meeting, but still have some virtual meeting for the ones that can't get over their anxiety enough to make themselves go out and do shit, to come to these meetings. For the ones that are too far away, that want to participate or want to, see these meetings. I gotta remember that kind of stuff too. So, after writing this stuff down, after thinking about this, it was like, well, these are simple fixes. These are legit simple fixes. I'm sitting here beating myself up over many different things. It wasn't just about this group meeting. I believe it or not, I have a life too. But, just many different things. And after, sitting down and doing this whole facts over feelings thing, it really taught me a lot yesterday. Really showed me a lot. Plus, the most important thing is it got me out of that cycle that I was going through in my head of just kind of beating myself up. It could have really turned into a depressed mode. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely, was having some bad negative suicidal thoughts yesterday. Was nothing serious. It wasn't. I don't want to, anybody thinking that, I'm going to go off myself or anything like that. It wasn't nothing serious. It was just thoughts, but we know where, thoughts lead to if you go in, if you let them keep going for so long. But, it was one of those things that, it's like, okay, all right, this is a serious problem. But instead of sitting here and letting this, keep up as a serious problem, what can I do to fix this? What can I do to snap myself out of this? I've been feeling like this for kind of the last couple of days because of some things that are going on in my life. And when I finally sat down and started writing it down on paper and writing facts over feelings and coming up with a plan and, realizing that, there's areas still that I need to work on, and there's areas that I need to evaluate myself on and fix and do better in. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better. Freaking, I said, had a lot of it do with myself. And then just not feeling good enough, or not feeling like I'm doing enough, not feeling like, all these different things. And it's the reason I'm talking about this morning. I don't want anybody ever thinking about me as, I'm Mr. Moto and I don't go through things and I don't, I don't have these thoughts anymore and I don't, freaking have anxiety anymore, or I don't go through depression, or I don't do this, or I don't do that. And I don't want nobody thinking that, because I do. I go through it just like you guys. Yes, I'm not as bad at all like I used to be. The last couple days being stuck in my head like I was, I could have very well, ended up, into a depression that could have lasted for days or weeks, or, but because I seen the signs and because I knew, friggin' what I was thinking and what was going on in my head, and because I actually took action and didn't just sit around and let things keep going, I, sat down and did something about it. I broke the cycle. I broke the bond that was, going on in my head, that was keeping me from moving on. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it takes a hell of a lot more. Not, fortunately for me, I have worked on myself so much, and over the past 4 or 5 years, that now, it's I can catch my, depressive states, to where, like I said, if this would have been 4 or 5 years ago, this could have probably turned into, a worse situation. It could have probably turned into, freaking me being stuck in my head and getting depressed over this for days, for months, who knows? All I know right now is that I'm not feeling like I was yesterday. Today's a brand new day. Today is, I'm not going to let yesterday or the last 2 days, or, people not showing up to the meetings, or me, the feelings that I had, freaking, I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm not going to let that affect today. If, the only thing I can say is that, if I want better from everybody else, then I got to do better. That's what a leader, does. Is, instead of pointing the finger at everybody else and saying, all these different kinds of things and blaming other people, I'm taking the blame. And I'm realizing, that I need to step up, that I need to, do better, that I need to do more. I can't sit around and say, I'm doing this and doing that, when there are things that I've come up with and things I've started that I've not actually finished, or that I didn't follow through with, or I didn't continue doing. So, let me read the comments. Comment was, I keep telling me it's a new day as my anxiety is amped up this morning. And exactly, it's a new day. It is a new day. I'm not saying that, for to sweep underneath the things that happened, in the past, or sweep under the sweep the things that's happened the last couple of days underneath the rug. But you got to look at it in a new light, in a new way, because it's a new day. If you let yourself get so amped up, then you're not going to be able to see the solution to the problem. I've stated this, I don't know how many times before. Don't focus on the problem. Don't focus on the right here, the right now. Don't focus on that, because if all you think about is the problem, then it's going to turn into some big monster that you're going to feel like that you can't defeat. So instead of focusing on the problem, focus on the solution. You've got the problem right there in front of you. Now, what can you do to fix it? What can you do to, get through this? What can you do to grow from this? What are all the things that you've learned along the way? And that's what I'm basically stating this morning. That's how I needed to break the cycle. That's how I needed, to get over the way I was feeling. And I'm not 100% over the way I was feeling. I'm not 100% over, what I've been, going on in my mind the last couple of days. But, I know I'm doing better this morning. There's still things that I need to, work on, but there's also things that I need to be proud of. I haven't mentioned this, the last week, because I was kind of testing myself, and I was kind of, seeing where it was going. But today I woke up at 3:57. Like, what is that? 3 minutes before my alarm clock went off at 4 o'clock. That's a win for me. That is a true win for me. I woke up at 3:57. And yes, there's been quite a few days that, I've woke up at 3:50, somewhere around there, but I've went back to sleep. Just enough time to reach over and turn my alarm clock off at 4 so it don't go off, and I go back to sleep. This morning, I got up. I didn't just hit the snooze, or I didn't hit the, turn the alarm clock off. I actually got up. I got up and started, and I sent out my moto videos, to the people that's wanted them this morning. I got a comment that said, "Yeah, Chris, why didn't you talk to me yesterday? Hard-headed ass." So I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Give me a second, because it's it'll tie into what I was saying. But I haven't mentioned this yet, because like I said, I was kind of like experimenting, kind of seeing, like I didn't want it to be like, oh, it just happened for 1 or 2 days. But I've actually been sleeping a lot better the last, probably, I think, week. So far in the past week, I have only taken a sleeping pill, which was melatonin, not my regular, actually, drug friggin' sleeping pill that I'm prescribed, for once in the last week. So I took one melatonin the last week, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. For me, that is a huge step. That is a huge accomplishment, because I've heard y'all, or I'm sure y'all heard me plenty of times, bitch on here about how I just can't sleep. And I don't know if I've cracked the code. I don't know, I don't know if this is going to last. I'm enjoying it right now. I'm not sitting there. My brain's not sitting here racing as I go to bed. The one time I did take the melatonin, which, like I said, I take heavier sleeping pills than just melatonin. But the one time I, took melatonin, my mind was racing, and it wouldn't stop that night. So, I took the melatonin. It was there. I'm not bullheaded enough to say, well, I'm just not going to use anything, and I'm not going to sit there and do anything. That I know that's going to help me. But this last week, I've been able to, basically, I started, when I go to sleep, I try to shut my brain down, which is very hard for me, very, very hard. And I know for a lot of other people, because once I lay down, I know, my brain just starts thinking about every stupid thing that, that's imaginable. But in the same way, I tried to shut my brain down, and instead of letting my thoughts drift and keep going, I tell myself in my brain to shut the fuck up. It's not time for that. We can think about this shit tomorrow. And then I try to clear my mind. But the biggest thing I think I've been doing was, like, I've been focusing on my breathing, like concentrating on my breathing and just listening to myself breathe. And then when a thought pops in my head, I tell myself again, shut the fuck up. It ain't time for that right now. And really, that's the only thing. And I know it sounds so simple that it's stupid, but that's the only thing I've been doing different. Like, that is the only thing that I've been, sitting there. I don't know where it even came from. I don't know who I heard it from or why I started doing it or anything like that. It just, one night, it was just like, I'm so sick and tired of not being able to sleep, and I'm sick and tired of having to take drugs to even get to sleep. Fuck this, I'm done. Like, we got to find a better way. So I started telling myself, shut the fuck up. We ain't doing this tonight. And then I started concentrating on my breathing. I had somebody comment a few minutes ago that, was like, stop being a hard ass. Why didn't I say something? Don't you suffer alone, Chris. You see them as you see, who to bring. I agree. There was a warning signs. So I want to kind of touch that. It sounds like meditating, Chris. It does help. That's what somebody just commented. And that could be what it is. I don't know if that's what it is or not. That may be exactly what it is. I don't know. I've tried meditating before. I've tried, I've tried doing that, and I didn't feel like it worked. Maybe is exactly what I'm doing. I have no clue. But, and one of the comments I'm getting now, guys, listen, your sleep is important. If you don't get enough sleep, it'll affect your mood. Yes, and that's me not getting sleep, or me running around tired like I always am. That really does affect my mood and affect my life and my irritability and everything. But, so I want to get back to the comment earlier, as said about, don't suffer alone. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I'm not saying that, that, this works. I'm saying that I'm in a far advanced enough state of mind with my mental illnesses and stuff and I've worked so hard on myself, and let's be real that I've done a lot of this alone by myself, which I know I'm not alone, but I've done a lot of work on myself so much. My girlfriend noticed last night. She noticed. She knew there was something wrong, and it was one of those states of minds that, like, she's doing big things for herself right now too. She is. She's out there getting started of wanting to create her own business, and she's doing looking up schooling and researching and doing all these kind of stuff because of a conversation me and her had like a few days ago, a week ago. I can't remember exactly how long it's been, but and I'm very proud of her for this. Right now, she is, super excited about all these little steps and all these little, this little information that she's, finding, and, she just had a virtual tour of the school that, she's wanting to go to. And, yesterday she just got her approved by the state of Ohio for her, I think it's called the business license. She basically, came up with the name for her business and applied for it, and they granted it and was like, yeah, that's yours, just great. She wanted to reserve it, even though she's not, started it yet. She wanted to reserve that name so nobody else could take it. And, so it was very hard yesterday because she knew something was wrong. I didn't want to take her shine from her. I didn't want to take her, her moment from her. I could have, sat there and told her everything that was wrong with me when, and the way I was feeling and stuff, but I didn't want to take that from her. It was like, no, even though the way I was feeling, it was, I made sure I focused more on her and the exciting thing that she was going through, because I didn't want to be no Debbie Downer. I wasn't going to let my feelings and what I was going through affect her to make her feel like, that, what she was doing wasn't important. It's very exciting. And, and she, so I made sure, like, I kept my mouth shut the last couple days. Like, we've had a few talks, don't get me wrong. We had a few talks, and she knows the basis of what's going on. She knows the basis, but she got to a point yesterday where she was just like, what is wrong with you? She was like, please talk to me. I know you're sad. I know you're, you're not feeling right. This isn't you. Like, normally you talk to me a whole hell of a lot. And I just told her yesterday, I was like, I am not in a talking mood. I am trying to figure out what's going on with me. I'm trying to figure this out. And I'm just, I don't want to talk about it right now. And I was trying to protect her. And what did, come out of my mouth a little bit later was, because then we got to bed and she was just like, what, please just talk to me. And I ended up telling her, I was like, look, this is a me problem. This is not a you problem. And I don't want to turn it into a you problem with everything that you got going on right now. This is something that I have to figure out. This is something that, I need to work through. This is something that, yes, I can talk with you about it, but it doesn't matter what you say or what you do or, what advice you give me. At the end of the day, you can't figure this out for me. You can't help me with this situation. And I know this. This is something I have to work on. It is a me problem, not a you problem. So let me figure this out. Let me get through this. And then, maybe we'll talk about it, later on. And that wasn't, me keeping things from her. That wasn't me, freaking feeling like I was alone. She was, letting me know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. I know I have a whole pack of, Facebook people, or not Facebook people, a whole pack on Facebook, to get a hold of. I know there's people to talk to out there. I just, I know for myself that it's a me problem. No matter who I talk to, no matter no matter how much somebody shows me, that they're there for me, and no matter what kind of advice, they get, they give me this and that, I still know at the end of the day, it's a me problem. I have to figure out what's going on inside of my head, and I have to figure out what's the actual problem. So I need to fix me. I need to, work through it myself. And and I'm getting, good morning, Jody. I'm getting comments, hello, get a hold of us, and what are we, chop liver? No, it's not like that. Like, I don't work like that. Like, and I'm not saying I'm better than nobody else. Like, it's one of those things that, I mean, just like I was saying, I was having some bad thoughts yesterday. And yes, I could have talked to people. Me and Becky talked yesterday. But it wasn't, to me, that's not how I work. That's not how I, process things. Usually, even when I do talk to somebody, I I come up with the solution in my head, or I figure it out, or it's an aha moment. Oh, I dropped, or the phone fell. So it's, it's not like that. It's not, to me, it's like, okay, this is a me problem. I have to figure this out. I knew at any point I could reach out to anybody in this group and they would be there for me like that, because I've been there for them. I knew at any point, if it got too bad, my girlfriend, is always here for me. She's very supportive and, very, friggin' loving and caring and everything like that. I know all this. It was no feelings of, me being alone. It was a lot of the problem is, and that's exactly, Becky asked me yesterday, she was like, well, what do you think the problem is? What do you think? And I can't remember exactly how she asked it, but it was more along the lines like, what do you think the problem is? Why do you think people weren't, showing up or participating or doing this or doing that? And I bluntly told her, it's me. I'm the problem. I need to do more. And I need to stay consistent. I need to do all this kind of stuff for, to get where I want to go. Yeah, the phone fell. It's called karma for not reaching out. Y'all are on these comments this morning, aren't you? Well, that's the thing, Stacy. Like, I didn't need to reach out. Like, I wasn't in that bad of a spot where I couldn't pull myself out. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like I said, I'm not saying like, I'm better than anybody else and I have this all figured out. But once you get to a stage where you have worked on yourself so much and done a lot of this work like what I have, I figure out a lot of this on my own. I figure out that it's like, yeah, okay, for the last couple days, which yesterday was really bad, was bad, or was worse than, the first day. But I was able to, to figure this out by myself. It wasn't, that I didn't, that I couldn't reach out to nobody or that I wanted to reach out to anybody. It was, I didn't feel like it got to that point yet. It was more like I'm figuring this out myself, and I'm working on this because I know what the problem is. I knew what the problem was the last couple days. And I know, I still know what the problem is. A lot of it is, like I told Becky yesterday, how do I expect people to want to show up for me if I'm not showing up for me? If I'm not putting in the work? If I'm not, sitting here doing what I said I was going to do? If I'm not sitting here, giving my all? If I'm not doing this, then how do I expect other people to do it? Lead by example, right? I know, one of my faults is, especially in this group, I'm not consistent. I'm all over the place. I do lives when I feel like it. I don't get up, like I wanted to do and do a morning motivational every single morning. I don't do a live, at a certain time every day. I don't, I'm not even consistent enough to do that. Everybody knows I just took, 3-4 months off of, during the summer. I need to start showing up. I'm holding myself accountable. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing, anybody in the group could have said. There's nothing that, my friends could have said. There's nothing my family could have said. There's nothing my girlfriend could have said to fix any of that, because I know what the problem is, and it's me. And I need to work more. I need to do more. You're human and you have a life too. Yeah, exactly. I know. I have a life too. But these are my goals and my dreams, and I want to become a speaker, and I want to do this stuff, and I want to help people, and so there's always more I got to do. And it's not just, like, oh, I got to work myself into the ground, and I got to, work from sun up to sundown, and I got to put my family and friends and everything else on hold. It's not that. It's just the things that I do come up, the ideas I do come up with, and the things, that I say, hey, I'm going to do this. Just like last night with the meeting. I almost canceled the meeting because I knew nobody was going to show up. I knew. The people that had said, friggin' that they were going to come weren't able to come. I'm not blaming or, pissed off or upset at nobody. Some shit happened, so I'm not, I'm not singling nobody out. And, like I said in the beginning, dealing with these mental health issues, understanding them is that, like, hey, people have anxiety. Yes, they want to come, but, at the very last minute, they can't come, because their anxiety is holding them back. I had a PAC member message me last week and was like, I really wanted to come to the meeting. And, I basically from Sunday, she stayed up all night Sunday, and, her anxiety was through the roof and everything because she wanted to come to this meeting so bad, but in the end, none of it worked out for her. So there's other factors that, I have to take into consideration with just why aren't people showing up. And I need to remember this. I need to remember what I'm dealing with. If you've been in the group long enough, everyone knows we're all available. Yes. It's not a simple thing as, like any of you could have sat here and y'all could have told me, well, I know what most people would have come out the, well, if you say you're going to do something, then do it. If you're saying, these were the things that were running through my head. I like I said, I can't ask people to show up for me when I'm not even showing up for me. And I'm not saying, I need to run myself into the dirt and, friggin' just exhaust myself and do all this different stuff and not have a life and not have a family and not have a girlfriend and not, concentrate on this, everything else. But what I am saying is some of the things that I'm coming up with and some of the ideas I'm doing and trying, to implement, and it's just consistency. Everything else will work itself out if I just show up and I do what I said I was going to do. I'm only letting myself down when I forget to, send out the moto videos like I have a habit of doing. Friggin' I've done that before where, like, I've asked people, like, hey, do you want me to send you some moto videos in the morning to get your day started and, to help you out? And they're like, yeah. And I do it for 2 or 3 days or a week or 2 weeks. And then I all of a sudden, I'd all of a sudden, friggin' fall off. I'd all of a sudden just like stop doing it, friggin' because I would forget or I had something else going on in my life. Those are the things like I'm talking about that y'all could have told me this and y'all could have friggin' been like, well, yeah, this is a problem. But, there's some things too that where I know what other people are going to say that's basically going to enable, is that the word? Enable me not to do certain things. And no offense to Stacy or to Becky or to anybody else in the group when they sit here and say like, oh, well, you have a life too and you're only human and this and that. You're not wrong. But I have goals and I have dreams, and I'm not going to be able to do this stuff and get to where I want to be if I don't make myself do it. If I don't show up, if I don't stay consistent, if I don't, come up with, the excuses of, well, I just don't feel like it today, or I'm too tired, or I don't know what to talk about, or, oh, well, nobody showed up last night, or, nobody's, paying attention, or whatever it is, you know, uh, getting out here to make live and do what you do, it's a big thing to help others and balance a big. Okay, sorry, I was reading a comment. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's it, it's really hard sometimes when you've worked on yourself so hard. Okay, so for example, let me give you this example, right? I listen to these moto videos constantly, on almost all day. That's what I'm doing. I have my earbuds in, and I am constantly pumping these, things that these, inspirational speakers and fixing yourself and moto, people. I constantly listen to this stuff. It's damn near an addiction. I'm obsessed with it because it helps and it works, and it's in the field that I want to be in, right? But the backfire on this, the thing that sucks about it is, like, when I am tired and when I am exhausted and when I don't feel like doing something and I'm like, I need to take a break, or like, like, I know here in about 4 or 5 hours I'm going to be tired and I'm going to be exhausted and I'm going to want to go take a nap. Well, when I can't think straight, when I can barely hold my eyes open, when my eyes feel like, they're sandpaper because they're so dry because I'm so tired, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take a nap. But yet then when I actually go lay down to take a nap, as soon as my head hits the pillow, all these YouTube voices, all these inspirational speakers, they jump into my head and they're like, what are you doing? Eric Thomas says, you don't sleep when you're tired, you sleep when you're done. You could be up doing this, you can be doing that, you could be, friggin' working on this, you can be working on that, friggin', why are you laying down right now? Friggin', you need to be up doing this, you need to be getting work done. My brain starts telling me all of this. And it's gotten to the point, friggin' a few times where I've just been like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear your moto shit right now. Like, I'm tired. I'm fucking exhausted. I need to take a couple, I need to take a couple hour nap, or, friggin' usually 45 minutes, or sometimes, like, most of the time, I don't even, fall asleep. It's just like I lay there for a good half an hour, 45 minutes trying to go to sleep, but I don't even fall asleep. And it's just like I'm laying there doing whatever I'm thinking, fucking, just laying there, thinking and, this and that. And it's like, I feel refreshed after getting up from that, friggin'. And there may be, I fall asleep for like 5 or 10 minutes and it takes me 45 minutes, to fall asleep for that 5-10 minutes. Or I just get aggravated and I finally just get up, but I feel refreshed, enough to get up and do that. But that's how my mind works. It's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time. To sit there and be like, I'm so friggin' tired and so exhausted, but then to lay down and my brain is on friggin' auto mode where it's like, no, you got shit to do. You say you want to be a speaker. You say you want to help people. You say you want to do this. You say you want to do that. But here you are not doing certain things where you should be doing. So, hopefully that, example helped a little bit. I did not plan on going for an hour on morning motivational. Y'all know I like to keep this stuff short. But, there's people in here commenting, it's a good conversation. Good. We're glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, Stacy. She's up with a smile on her face. Good. Very good. Hopefully, your guys' day goes great. But yeah, so I know I knew all of this. You know, like I said, there's nothing that any of you could have told me or, you know, talked to me about or even my girlfriend. There's nothing that any of you could have said to made me feel better or helped me, because I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is, and I know what I need to do to fix it. That's the problem. It's just I need to fix it. It's on me. It's, you know, like I told my girlfriend last night, you know, it's a me problem. I don't want to transfer this on you, and I don't want, you know, to take away from her excitement. I don't want to take away her shit, because, you know, this is a me problem. Only I can fix this. I'm holding myself accountable. And it wasn't just about the group. It wasn't about, you know, this. There was a few other things that kind of like made me get into my head about what's been going on the last couple days. So it wasn't just all that. But there you were going to the baby step this today. Yeah, baby steps. That's what it is. It's what it is. Small steps, Stacy. And then when, you know, when it gets down to, you know, friggin', there may be something that happens today, and, you know, you got to remember the progress you've already made. You know, friggin', you got to look at the good with the bad, the determination. You both got this. You know, you do. You know, and, you know, same thing for you, you know, that you tell us, you know, we're all here. If you or, you know, your daughter needs help, just reach out. You know, have her watch some of the lives, have her join the group. That's on your discretion, you know, though. You know how I am. I know she's underage, but, you know, if she needs to sit down and talk with me, you know, whatever, you know, there's people in this group, and you know that the best, that, you know, freaking, because this group has helped you so much. Remember the facts over feelings I was talking about this morning. You know, maybe try to implement that with her. I'm going to try to go into a more detailed live today about sitting down and doing that. But other than that, I'm going to get off here, you guys. I got a morning routine that I want to keep up with. I'm doing the live as part of that. But I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope today brings you whatever it is that you're seeking out of life. I hope it brings you some clarity. I hope that, you know, you make those baby steps, and, you know, to whatever goal or whatever mindset you're trying to get in. I just hope you have a great day. I really do. You know, I hope this day brings you whatever it is that you need out of life to help you keep going. And always remember two things: stronger than what you think, and you're not alone. Peace. So I wanted to let you guys know, we do have a TikTok now. Not very many videos in that one. I'm still learning TikTok. We also have a YouTube channel. We would love to have you in the private Facebook support group. If you wanted to come join us, just go into the description. I don't know if people know this or not, but go into the description and follow all the links that are in the description so you can find us on other channels. But I want to start asking people to say, hey, if you can, please go support me on Patreon. The link is in the description also. And I'm not asking for much. You know, if I've, you know, resonated with you, if I've helped you in any way, if you enjoy listening to this content, you know, if you appreciate all the time and energy and everything that I put into this, please, you know, go support me on Patreon. You know, the subscriptions ain't much. You know, $5, $10, $15, $20. That's each, you know, one, and it's per month. You know, per month. If not, if you can't afford that, I totally understand with these times right now. I really do. If you can't afford that, I truly understand. But another way you can help support me is just by sending me some questions, sending me some suggestions, sending me some comments. You know, whatever. Email me at yanaswolfpack@gmail.com, which that's in the description too. So, you can find all of this info wherever else we are in the description. But just shoot me a message and say, hey, in this one episode, you really helped me. Hey, and in this one episode, it really resonated with me. Or, hey, I got a question, or whatever it is. Give me some feedback, please. I want to make these shows about you and what you're going through and to help you. I can only talk about the stuff I go through and the stuff I've been through for so long. I'm trying to make the podcast and stuff better. I'm trying to, learn more different things. But, unfortunately, that takes time, takes money. I'm paying for editing videos. I'm going out here and putting, friggin' shoes on the ground. Takes time to do, these interviews that I'm about to start coming up with, hopefully within the next month. It just takes time. I put a lot of time, a lot of energy in this. I just appreciate it. If you went and, signed up for Patreon, whatever subscription you want, let me sit down with you. Try to figure out some ways we can help you one-on-one personally. Some video chats, some phone calls, whatever it may be that you sign up for. So with that, again, I hope you all have a great and amazing day. I hope life brings you whatever you want. And remember, make the rest of your life the best of your life. Always remember two things. You're stronger than what you think, and you're not alone. Peace.
When I was just a young buck, mama always told me, son, keep your head up. I started hustling in the street cause I was fed up. At the age of 13, just trying to get my bread up. Didn't know my father, he was murdered in cold blood. That's why I have no remorse and never show no love. Hoping I piss you off, I really give two fucks. Burning my old bridges, trying to find me a new plug. And knowing that I needed to change, always taking from people who probably needed the same. But I was deep in the game and running deep with my gang. And if our pockets was low, then we was peeping your chain. Boy, gotta come up somehow. Instead of running these streets from sun up to sundown, I gotta change my mindset. It ain't no wondering why now that it wasn't my time yet. And why we gotta learn the hard way, doing things that we know we ain't supposed to. And I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep the devil on my back to get to where I'm going to. I can never get enough of that tough love. When push comes to shove, you can kick me while I'm down, but I'm gonna get back up. Never get enough of that tough love. When push comes to shove, you can kick me while I'm down, but I'm gonna get back up. Ha! What did you do? This is what I did. Yeah, I followed through with the plans. Washing my hands, I'm through with chasing these bands. Found hope, put down dope, becoming a man. Picking up the number 2 and letting go of the grams. I never thought that I could make it this far, to eating caviar from stealing stereos from your car. You'd be a fool not to change and try and better yourself. Better quit while you ahead, don't get ahead of yourself. And in truth, you'll find peace and find me blowing on pine trees, trying to fill up a dime piece. No more popping my 9-piece or stopping the grind streets. Don't take life for granted, cause boy, you know your time's least. And life is what you make it. Better take the music that you dance to and face it. So next time a hater says you can't make it, let that be your motivation to show them that you was destined for greatness. And why we gotta learn the hard way, doing things that we know we ain't supposed to. And I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep the devil on my back to get to where I'm going to. I can never get enough of that tough love. When push comes to shove, you can kick me while I'm down, but I'm gonna get back up. Never get enough of that tough love. When push comes to shove, you can kick me while I'm down, but I'm gonna get back up. Ha. You see, change is inevitable, so it's never too late to make a difference as an individual. Cause we gotta do that to become better as a whole. All for one, and one for all. And why we gotta learn the hard way, doing things that we know we ain't supposed to. And I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep the devil on my back to get to where I'm going to. I can never get enough of that tough love. When push comes to shove, you can kick me while I'm down, but I'm gonna get back up. Never get enough love. When push comes to shove, you can kick me while I'm down, but I'm gonna